found on a bookshelf in October of 2007, and we found actually two icons. This icon and a small cross painted at a skeet under the Iveron Monastery, which we realized later in life. You know, at the time we didn't make that connection between the two. Even the Holy Cross was that was streaming myrrh was from a skeet of the Iveron Monastery. It still streams. It only streams on certain days. Like it streamed on the Feast of the Cross, September, and then it streamed on Pascha, but only during the liturgy. Only during the liturgy. You were there?
Yeah. On Pascha.
That's right. Yes. But the icon of the Mother of God, it streams very little, but and the myrrh smells like
Different.
like a spice or something. We have a Palestinian family, and they say it smells like the stone, the unction stone, and it smells like the air around Jerusalem. So it's very Middle Eastern in its fragrance, you know. And but the icon of the Mother of God continuously streams. In fact, they were both found together, and the cross streamed in great abundance, and then slowly dried, and streams only sporadically throughout the year. Like one time, like as we said, during Great Lent, during the Sunday of the Holy Cross, and then during liturgy, the icon goes completely dry during Holy Week. I remember the first year it did that, and we were terrified because we didn't really understand what was going on. In fact, we got a call from the Father Serge Kotar, I think it was Father Serge or maybe Father Peter, I don't remember, said, you know, because the icons were taken to San Francisco to be verified and investigated, right? Because you have to, once you have a manifestation like this, there are always three reasons for every miracle. The first is that it's man-made, it's false, it's a hoax. The second is that it's demonic, it's an illusion of the devil. And then the third, which is the most frightening, I believe, is that it is from God. That's the most terrifying, because that means that there is reason behind this. There is a just cause. If it's a demonic illusion, it's just for chaos purposes. But this means something. And then time will reveal the meaning of the manifestation. So they take the icon from its place in Hawaii, brought it to the cathedral in San Francisco, kept on the altar for many months, and that takes care of the first. You remove the icon from the source, and you place her on the altar, and you serve holy liturgies daily, where the icons were kept. And that takes care of the second, because where God is, the devil cannot be, right? So that left the third reason, that there's purpose to this. And I remember, many months later, we get a phone call from one of the clergy, and he said, the bishop wants to talk to you. I said, oh, that can't be good. And, it slipped my mind completely about the icons, because we went about our daily lives. I was a police officer, my wife was a teacher, and when we found the icons, we brought them to the church immediately, because we were scared. We didn't understand this. When we found it, we were cleaning it and wiping it. What's wrong with this? Why won't it stay dry? And then I almost dropped it. My hands started shaking, because I came to the realization that, oh my God, is this a myrrh-streaming icon? Because you don't realize it, at the time, how gentle it is. It's not something that gushes. It does at times, but throughout most of the day, it's just a simple drip, drip, drip. That's all it is. It reminds me of the prophet Elijah when he was, up on the mountain in Sinai, and he said, I was searching for the word, the voice of God, and I sought for him in the sounds in the thunderous roar of the storms, and I did not find him. And he's telling this to the people. He said, and I went to the rustling of the waves and the ocean and the crashing of the waves, and I did not find him. To the tumult of the people, who are clamoring. He said, I did not find him. And they asked him, well, where did you find God? Where did you find him? He said, I found the voice of God as if it was a whisper on the wind. It was gentle. And in the Greek, it says, in the King James, it says, as a breeze, a rustling of the trees. So, it's gentle. It's something that it's not a cross in the heavens. This miracle is something that is unique in that how very delicate and small it is, but how it can be transformative, how it can change people's lives. So when I talked to the bishop, I said, Vladika, what's going on? He said, well, the Holy Cross is being sent back to Hawaii, and it will be placed in the church as a blessing for the people. The people can come there to venerate, and it will always be there. The icon of the Mother of God will be given a special purpose. She will be taken to all the churches and monasteries of our Holy Orthodox Church as a blessing for the people. And I said, what's going on? And he said, people need to bear witness of this. Not so much see with their eyes, but they need to behold the glory of God in something so small. This icon was purchased for $20 in Toronto in a bargain bin. They didn't want it because it's discolored. It's too dark. They said it's too dark. The image is too dark. And it was in a $20 bin. And when our priest from Hawaii went down there, he saw two babushkas fighting over it, arguing. No, this is mine. This is mine. And then the matushka of the church, who's shortly before she passed away, she was 90, I think, at the time. She took it out, ripped it out of their hands, and said, "This is going to Hawaii." She gave it to Father Anatole. She said, "Take it to Hawaii," because it was the last copy they had. And we had this for years. It was brought to Hawaii in '99, I think, and began streaming around 2007. So since that time, the bishop, and I asked the bishop, I said, who are you going to get to do this? Because, and he said, you. And I told him, I didn't realize this until later. But I was looking for excuses not to serve God. So I said, Vladika, I have a mortgage, I have a cat, I have a job, I have a wife. But not in that order, I promise. And he said something I'll never forget. He said, "Don't worry, the Mother of God will provide." You always hear about God will provide, God will provide. It's kind of a Western-minded, understanding of our connection with God, right? God will provide. And yet Vladika said, the Mother of God will provide. Until I realized what he meant, until I developed in my orthodoxiness, I realized that we are intrinsically linked to the saints as they are to God, as we are to God. She is to God. When we call out to them, we are in actuality calling out to Him. To renounce them, to mock them, to denigrate them, is to mock God. That's why we have to pray for our Western brothers and sisters who are supposedly Christians, who don't understand that. When you mock the saints, you mock God. It is a mockery. And that's what this manifestation to us is, a reminder of how linked we are to God through the saints and to one another. Neither Greek nor Jew, right? For all are one in Christ. We are all united in God, in God's love. So since that time, she has been to over 2,000 churches around the world. Millions of people have venerated this little icon. I was in Georgia, the country of Georgia, where a third of the country came to venerate the icon. Imagine, Armenians, Turks, and people, Russians and Ukrainians, everyone came from the surrounding countries to venerate the Mother of God. And we were in one church in Makata in Tbilisi. It's an Iveron Cathedral. And the patriarch looks at me and he says, to us, to the American delegation, he says, "You Orthodox in America, you are so blessed because you are given such gifts and you are given time with these gifts. And he said, my people have no time because there are 50,000 people on the mountain, another 150,000 people on the sides of the mountain coming up to the monastery, to the cathedral to venerate the icon. The military was there. There were so many people that people were not allowed to kiss the icon. They could simply touch it and go, and then the military would pull them on. And they were screaming and crying. And I was peeking out through the royal doors, and I had to look away because it was so painful to watch people being pulled away. But there wasn't any time. And the patriarch said, but my people will be blessed. And we heard people were healed from various illnesses in incredibly miraculous ways. But we have time. Today, little flock, if people knew what was here, there would be millions of people down those streets if they truly understood what was here. But God chooses those whom he chooses. And the fact that you are here now means that God wanted you here now, and you chose to follow that path, to follow that call. What were the words that were said by St. Philip to Nathaniel Bartholomeus? What was said to him? Come and see. Just come and see. And you know what's remarkable about that story is that when Nathaniel happened upon Christ, Christ says, indeed an Israelite in whom there is no guile. And he said, how do you know? He said, when I saw you under the fig tree, when you were under the fig tree, I saw you. People don't realize that there's a part to that story, is that the mother of Nathaniel, as they were during the persecution of Herod, as they were running through the Garden of Gethsemane, soldiers came by, saw Nathaniel, sisters, young baby boy, his mother holding him. And what was the order at that point? Every child under 2 years old to be executed on the spot. And the mother of Nathaniel, son of Ptolemy, took him and put him in the hollowed out stump of a fig tree. Kept him there. Throughout his life, that story must have been very powerful for him. And think of how remarkable it is for us who know the full picture of that story, in that at that same moment, there's Christ being born. And yet he says, when you were under the fig tree, I saw you. So when he came to Nathaniel, and Christ says to him, when you were under the fig tree, I saw you. Imagine that. How powerful. At that moment he says, you are Jesus, you are the Son of God. Imagine that connection, that with those simple words, he became a disciple of Christ. It's very similar. Sometimes God uses pictures, sometimes God uses words, sometimes God uses things for us to connect with him. Like this. So we are very blessed to have her here. It's blessing for me to spend time with the fathers, and I just saw Father Mark a few weeks ago, I think, with the patriarch, and it was very nice. And then I got to spend time with Father David and Father Matthew at the clergy conference a few months ago, and then now we're here at the church. It's amazing where God takes us. You know? So I'll reiterate, you'll have time. So don't run away. Come, pray a little, and put your head on the icon, and talk to the Mother of God. Bring your pain, bring your anger, bring your hate, bring your passions, bring your love, bring your joy. Give them to Christ and let him heal you and soothe your soul with his divine grace. And may the Mother of God watch over all of you and keep you all safe under her sacred authority. God bless you all. May the Panagia always watch over you.
Can I ask you a question? I'm noticing that presumably from the myrrh, this wood is all buckling, breaking down. How often do you have to replace the case that she's in? And she's fine.
This is probably the 12th or 13th case I've been through.
Yeah.
And then these covers, about 30, I think. I go through them. That's why we had a different one last night. I rotate them, because everything just completely disintegrates around the icon. This is the third silver riza that we've gone through. All the other rizas have slowly disintegrated over time. They get eaten away. They just fall apart. Yet the icon remains. It's okay. It's amazing. One of the great miracles of the church is but a drip. Your hands, man. We're very blessed as Orthodox Christians.
Well, Father, you said you got that in '99?
Yes, I do. Actually, Father Anatole brought our priest brought the icon to the church. We were in a small little room, maybe a corner of this size. That was the size of our church. Father Anatole, like here, the icon, put the icons on the walls to beautify the space. So he brought this icon and he hands it to me and he said, "Here." And I said, "Oh, this will look nice on one of the walls." And he said, "No, this is for you. It's for your namesake. Happy feast day." And it was St. Nectarios' feast day. I said, "Oh." This was made, I try not to use this too often because I want to preserve it because of the hand part. This is made by one of our priests in our diocese, Father George Corto. He made the sepulchre for St. John in San Francisco. But it has St. Nectarios, St. Seraphim, St. George, and St. Elizabeth. Oh, yeah, sure, of course.